What is going on, everybody out here? And today we are talking rotaries. So I've got a lineup here that we are going to compare and look at together. And, spoiler, I picked the Piburn. And I'll tell you why. So hang on tight. All right, so as you can see here, I have three different rotaries. And the way I look at it is you take this rotary and you kind of smash them together. And this is kind of what you get. So here we have a Mansfield rotary. It is a four-wheel rotary. Over here we have a Chuck rotary, which this is mainly used for my fiber. You'll see that it has like little slots here that are actually meant for the threaded table to hold it down. You'll see, rotaries or Chuck rotaries that are meant for a CO2 like this are usually a little bit bigger. They have, a base that goes with it and kind of an end that helps hold support the end of the cup. But one thing that you don't usually see in those rotaries is adjustment. So this one, if I loosen up these nuts here, I can actually move this up and down. So you don't get that adjustment with rotaries that are basically set up for CO2 machines like this. You just don't have that. You have to just prop up the end of it, so that way it actually tilts. So it would be similar to this and saying, hey, prop up the bottom of that rotary so you can get the angle that you're looking for. So when it comes to that style, it's very rigid. It's not super flexible. This obviously is a little bit better, but ideally it's meant for the fiber tables or CO2 galvo tables, not necessarily for this setup here. This guy, so the four-wheel rotary, it's simple, it's pretty easy, but you're going to see here in a minute where this kind of takes over. So with this guy, all your adjustments, you do have like little thumb screws, but it's not precision. I mean, you have to push it up and down, slide it, get it where you want it, tighten it up. The one nice thing about this one is it does have a little cup clamp, so it kind of tries to hold that cup in place. And it has this guy here, so you can slide this in and you can change the length of that cup or that item that's sitting on here. But there are limitations. So obviously, like if we wanted to do like a shot glass on this becomes a little bit more difficult because there's not a whole lot like way to hold it. Like it can go on here. This might be a little bit too big. Maybe it can't hold it. There's problems. Also, another thing is like the wine tumblers that have like kind of an odd shape at the bottom. They can be difficult on here because these wheels are oddly spaced, or it just doesn't support it enough. So that being said, we jump over here. We look just briefly, and we'll get like way into detail on this, but you look briefly at this, and there's a lot of user feel good here. So you've got these knobs. So you can see that this knob is lifting and lowering these back wheels for support. And this is way more precision with this rack and pinion system here. So you can actually go and raise it right up. You've got adjustments to help hold the back of your cup in, so that way it's not sliding this way or going around. And this right here is actually like a little bearing. So just a little wheel. So that way it's not getting any friction and it's not going to hold that cup from spinning. Granted, I don't think it would happen anyways because you got this big old thing here. So this chuck head, so chuck, this chuck head, it's toolless. So you can see here on this guy, I've got this here and I have to use this to open and close the jaws. Over here, the awesomeness that is Piburn is all done toolless right here. So it makes it really easy to open and close those jaws and get things put into place. So hang on tight. We're going to get all the trinkets that go with this machine and make it even more crazy awesome compared to these other options. So hang on tight. All right, so I got my box of awesome out here. So these are all the little tools and attachments that actually came with this Piburn Grip. So here we've got tools for any adjustments that I needed to make, and then we've also got additional pieces that are going to make this even more versatile than it already is. So I installed these little rubber grips. So it's called the grip, and so these help to grip. On top of that, you can make it bigger. So you can see that these fit here, and that's kind of maxed out. You can see like right here, like this tooth or this jaw is coming out. So these ones are still in here. This is number 3, and so it's like on the very end. So with this, I could actually get this cup in here, but this is about maxed out for this. So doing this one-handed, but got it. So I did it one-handed and was able to get that going. So you can see it holds that. It also has support because it's resting up against those jaws in there, and there you go. So that's how that could be done from the outside. But let's think about this. So I often have, so you can see these jaws are meant to clamp from the outside. Yeah, they can bite here, but it's meant to clamp to the outside. One of the things that I have issues with is this is about as big of a cup as you can get on that thing without having something special like these. So I've been using these because these basically make an extension of these jaws. These are 3D printed. I had to buy them special, but let's take a look at this. So loosen this up, slide this back down, and you'll see I've got these little bars sitting here. So these bars are backstops. So with those backstops in place, we can go ahead and tighten that back up. The cup is pressed up against there, and now we're clamped from the inside. So that just became so much more useful because now I could clamp inside, outside, and if I needed to go bigger than that and actually get to the outside, you've got these extra bars. So these bars can be added to the jaws that are already in there and extend those little rubber grips out farther. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to throw this cups on here. I'm going to put the camera on a stand, and we're going to throw a couple different cups on here, show you what I'm talking about. All right, so now I got you zoomed in a little bit more. I've got both my hands, and we can look at this a little bit closer. So ideally, when we are putting on a cup such as this, you would want to make sure that it is sitting level. So got my little level that came with the Piburn, so I can see what my bed looks like as far as level and try and get it to match what's going on over here. So the nice thing is with this guy, you can loosen this up, slide these wheels just right underneath it, and loosen up what you've got going on over here on the chuck. So now I can go ahead and I can use the adjustments and get this exactly where I want it. So look at that. Precision, go ahead, tighten these up, and this guy is ready to roll. So now that I've got this all lined up with the wheels, I can adjust the foot that's back here, or the little wheel bearing. So tighten this up, loosen up the wheel bearing, push it up against the bottom of the cup so that way it's a good support for it from moving left to right as it's sitting right now. And we're ready to go. So it was super easy to make those adjustments, make sure that it was going to be level, and get set up so it's ready to go. And you can do this with any size cup. So go ahead, we'll back this guy back out. We can go ahead and loosen this up, take this off, and we'll go grab another cup. Okay, so this is one of my a 30-ounce cup. one that's been a practice cup. I've used it, abused it. Well, not so much. I definitely have ones that are worse. There's still more to use on this cup. But let's go ahead, let's see. So just using the standard jaws that are in there, let's see if we can get it to reach for the 30 ounce. All right, so there's the 30 ounce. It's in there nice and tight. I can tighten it a little bit more, make sure it's good. And then it also even comes with some little tools to help get that tightening done a little bit better. So you can stick those in here and really crank on it to make sure that it's tight. Honestly, so far what I've seen, I've been able to get it hand tight enough that I'm not too worried about how far it's going, but those tools are there. And then again, we're gonna do the same thing. We can go ahead, get the wheels under here. It's not actually touching, so we'll loosen these up, bring it down, and just tighten them up just a little bit, so that way it has some friction on it, and then we can use the adjustments to get this exactly where we want it. That's where it's gonna go. Tighten those up, and bam, ready to go. So there is a different size cup, and that one is ready as well. So go ahead and loosen this up, take this one off, and put on another one. So now let's take a look at a larger cup. Let's grab a Stanley size. All right, so here is one of my Stanley dupes. So we got this guy. We'll go ahead and take the lid off and see what we're looking at. So the nice thing is I can tell already that this is going to be very similar here. So those sizes are pretty close. So I know if I go slide that guy back, go ahead and tighten this up. That guy's ready. Slide the wheels in, lock that into place. Throw it on here, loosen it up. And now we can go ahead and make our adjustments. Lock it in. Good to go. So again, that would have been a lot more complicated on some of these others. So like the four wheel, it doesn't have like a thumb adjustment. I have to slide it up there, make sure that it's level, and then tighten it up and hope that it didn't move. Same thing with the chuck over here. You can see these little nuts here out of the frame. But these nuts here, this is how I would go ahead and loosen this up so I could change the angle of this guy. So I have to have tools in my hands to make that work. The tool is the chuck itself. So it makes it really nice for that easy change out, and you're not having to use all your tools. And if you don't have tools to lose, that's the other great thing, because I can't tell you how many times I've lost the tape measure. But this one, there you go. There's your full-size Stanley. So you could do those. One thing, so I believe that mine set up, oh, look at that. So it actually would clear the whole way. But I've also got one more set of holes that I could go up higher, lift this, so that way I would just have to raise the back wheels a little bit more and give this handle even more clearance than it already has. But that will rotate all the way around without even having to remove the handle. So if I had a customer that wanted a two-sided wrap, or not a wrap, but a two-sided engraving, they could go do this, and it would roll through and do the other side, and then it would be done. And I wouldn't even have to take off the handle, because sometimes those handles can be a pain in the butt with the plastic and everything that goes into those screws. But so far, the things that we've covered, there is the features of the usability, the precision of all the different adjustments, the toolless change out of the cups with the chuck head. Obviously, there are way more flexibility, way more things that you can do with this, because it gets bigger than this. So, dog bowls. Dog bowls have kind of become popular. Let's take a look at that. Let's see how we can make that happen. All right, so this is what I'm talking about. So I've got this dog bowl, and with these other options, like I don't, here, like let's take a sneak peek. See over here. So this is looking at just the regular four wheel. Um, it looks like I could get it on there, but it definitely doesn't want to stay. It um, it's a little bit out of its wheelhouse. I mean, I could probably get it to work, but that it just looks super unstable to me. And the other issue is going to be clearance. Like you look at how high that bowl is sitting up, I've got to have a lot of clearance to get down and make sure that that's actually going to work, especially in a CO2 uh, gantry style machine like this. So the nice thing about the grip is the lower profile. So if we slide this guy out of the way, and I mean, we're not even going to talk about the other chuck. That one, there's no chance. I'd have to buy some massive jaws to make that happen. But this guy, well, we got a problem here. That doesn't look like it's going to reach either. That's where these come into play. So we've got these extra jaws here, or these extra extensions. So we're going to go ahead, pull these little rubber grips out. All right, so now you can see that I've got these other extensions on here. So let me just lift and spin this around. So that's what it looks like. So you can see all the extra room, and then I go ahead and just add these rubber grips back on to these extensions. And then that makes it so I could do this. So we go ahead and bring these in. Okay, and there is the dog bowl. There is not another rotary out there that's doing that. This is, as far as I have seen, the dog bowl like this is what you got. This is what you need if you're wanting to do big objects like this, all the different sizes. Granted, you could do, even a baseball bat on this because you could put the actual end of the bat into the chuck with the same grips because you even have these bigger ones, just a little bit longer fingers. So that way you could really grab onto something and make sure that that is stable in there, and having the wheels that it could ride all the way past there. So you could even take this guy off and have a baseball bat ride all the way across this. So there's so much that you can do with this rotary that this is why I chose the Piburn, because of the versatility, flexibility, that user friendliness that you're going to get out of this thing, all the adjustability. You just really can't beat it. It has a bigger price tag, but that price tag is there for a reason, because you are getting so much value out of this unit. So I would choose it hands down and use it again and again and again. One of the couple of the features that I did opt to get is I did get the magnetic feet, so that way it stays down, it stays in place. Granted, you don't have to, but I like them so far. Once it's down, it's not moving. It's there. So, and then the other thing that I did get is the fiber feet. So I plan on using this in my CO2 stuff, also on the fiber table, and also in my CO2 galvo. So these guys right here, probably a little bit harder to see, but these, you can adjust them, slide them out, and they are spaced out just wide enough so that way it can actually be threaded down to the fiber table, and use these on the table, or actually I'm going to call it a galvo table, because I have a fiber and I also have a CO2 galvo that I would use this guy on. So, I mean, but look at that. That dog bowl is on there. It's not going anywhere. So you could have that full wrap on a dog bowl if you wanted. Crazy stuff. All right, so there you have it. My opinions and some comparison between the Piburn Grip, and some other models of rotaries out there. Like I said at the beginning, I'm choosing the Grip. There's so much versatility, so much user friendliness, the features that come with it, and the flexibility to do so many items like this big old dog bowl, that it just makes it the best option for everything. To try and get everything you possibly can to do on a rotary, it just makes it so much easier. I mean, rings, those grippy little fingers, like it's going to make it so much easier to do those kind of things on this than it would on, say, the big old aggressive chuck that I've got there. That's not going to do it. That one over there, that one's not going to hold on to a ring. So this one, as far as versatility, is going to take the cake. So if you are interested and you're thinking about getting a Piburn, I am an affiliate for them, and you can go down in the description and get my code. That is Bearded Builds. And so Bearded Builds, that'll get you $50 off of your purchase. And it also lets them know that I sent you to them. So if you liked this video, please use my codes and like, subscribe, all the things. Leave me a comment, and we will see you on the next one.